Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Mostly Programming. My name is Vivek and this is lesson 16 of learning Python scripting from scratch. In today's video, we are going to see what are lists in Python. The scope for today's lesson is we are going to discuss list, some examples, indexing in list, properties or some characteristics of list, length of a list, and how we can manipulate a list. So let's get started. But before that, if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do that right now because it's free. Also, press the bell icon so that you never miss an update from Mostly Programming. If you have also follow us on Instagram, it is at @mostlyprogramming. We come up with new quizzes and practice sessions on a daily basis. So follow us there. Let's get started. Let's open PyCharm directly and see what is a list and how we can use list. So basically up till now we have been using variables and we have been assigning them a single value, either it be an integer, float or a string. For example, let me just show you here. I have taken a variable x and then I'm giving it a value 5, or maybe another variable y and giving it a float value, or taking a variable z and giving it a string. Up till now we have only been doing or assigning a variable a single value, but from this video onwards we would be moving towards the Python data structures where we would be assigning a collection of values to a single variable. Yes, you heard me right. From the lesson number 16 we are going to assign multiple values to a single variable. Let's see how we can do that. We have already been using list but not directly. I have told you that this is a variable and we are going to use this. This is a data type and we are going to use this, but I have not explained what a list is. In today's video I am going to explain that. So list is basically a collection of values that is in a single variable. We have multiple values. Let me show you how we can create a list. I have taken a variable list equal to, and in square brackets we pass the values. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a list. Or even this is a list. Let all be the floats here. The first one was the integer list. The second one is a decimal number list. Let's create another list here. You can guess it. That would be a string. GH, comma, double quotes, GHJ, comma, double quotes, something random. So this is a string list. Now we can create an empty list as well. So what we can do is just simply open brackets, open and close square brackets. This is an empty list. Also, it is not necessary that the all elements inside a list must be of the same data type. Yes, we can create a list like this. Hold on a second, let me just change the name here, list 3, and here list 4. What we can do here is different data types as well, elements of different data types. For example, 5 or 7.2 comma Vivek. Even this is a list. This is valid in Python. Also we can do this 6 comma 7 comma 8. This is also a valid list. Here in the list 5, what we have done basically is we have created a list inside a list, right? I hope the basic example of how to create a list is now clear. Anything in square brackets separated by commas is a list, or if it's an empty list, only the square brackets is an empty list. I hope the basics are clear now. Let's do something with the list, something fun and that we can enjoy doing. For I in list, basically I'm going to iterate over this list. What I'm going to do is print I. Let's see what is the output. So as you can see, 3 different elements are printed, 6 and 8 are clear. Now 6, 7 is a list inside a list, so that would be treated as an individual element, as a single element. So this basically is a single element, this is a single element, and this is a single element. That's how using for loop we can iterate over a list. Let me now erase all this, backspace, and let's create some other list. Say friends equal to, let me write some names. I'll write my name, Vivek. I'll write name of some of my friends, say, right. I'll write another name, say, yeah. So I have a list of friends where I have written my name, Lisa, and Suraj. I have 3 elements in this list. Then how can I iterate over this? For I in friends, print. Suppose I want to wish all of them Happy Diwali, which is an Indian festival, comma, I'm going to pass here the variable. Let's run this and see. So as you can see the output now, Happy Diwali Vivek, Happy Diwali Lisa, and Happy Diwali Suraj are now printed. That's how we create a list in Python, and that's how we iterate over a list in Python. You can also use a while loop, but I prefer for loop because it's easier to use and more convenient to use. The next topic that we are going to cover today is indexing. If you may be able to recall that we could access individual elements of a string, I'm just going to show you and then we will move forward to list. Suppose I have a string which is equal to Vivek. Then we can access the individual elements simply by writing print string, and then in the square brackets what we have to do is simply write the element that we want to print. 3 is the 4th element, then E would be printed because the index number starts from 0, 1, 2, 3 onwards. Similar to this, we can also access individual elements of a list. Let me create the same list again, friends. Spelling mistake. Let me just correct it, friends. Then inside square brackets, I'll write the same names again, Vivek, separated by a comma, the second name, Lisa, and the third name, say, Suraj. Okay, there's an error. Let me just backspace this. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to individually access Lisa, suppose. So what I'll simply do is print friends, and inside the square brackets I will write the index number that I want to print. So Lisa is printed. So individual accessing using indexing is allowed in a list. That is the first characteristic of a list. Now the second characteristic that I want to talk about is lists are mutable. Let me just write it down for you. Lists are mutable. This is the most important characteristic. What do I mean by mutable? Is basically changeable. The strings are immutable. Let me show you what do I mean by mutable and immutable. Suppose that I have a string Vivek, Vivek. Then what if I want to, while writing the string, instead of E, I write A. I wrote A. So if I want to change it, is the individual accessing allow me to change it? Let me just try. String. What is the index number of A? 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 is equals to, let me just try doing this, a traceback error, because individual mutation or the mutable strings are basically not mutable, not changeable. So individual assignment inside a string is not allowed, but it is allowed in list. Therefore lists are mutable. Let me just show you how we can change individual elements in a list. Let me take our old list friends, which is equal to Vivek, then Lisa, and then Suraj. Suppose I want to change Suraj. I want to change a friend here. I want to change the name Suraj to say Sneha. So what I'll do is simply friends. Inside the square bracket, I would write 2 is equal to Sneha. Then what I will do is print the list. Let me just see. So as you can see, now the list is updated. Initially it had Vivek, Lisa and Suraj as the 3 elements. Now it has Vivek, Lisa and Sneha. From this we can clearly observe that lists are mutable, that is, individual assignment is allowed in lists in Python while it is not allowed in strings. This is the most important characteristics of using a list of a list. I hope this is clear to you. We get a trace back if we try to individually change the characters in a string. Although we can do that not by individual assignment, but we can do that with slicing. Let me just show you how we can change a character from individual character from a string. Let me just take a string Vivek. Hold on a second. Vivek. Then suppose I wrote here Vibek, Vivek. So I want to change the third character, that means the element at the second index, the character at the second index to V. How I can do that is simply take another string or even the same string. String is equal to, what I am going to do here is string from the starting to the character which I want to change, which is the second character, second index, plus the character that I want to add, small v. Then I will just simply print the remaining string. From 3 onwards, let me just now print the string. Let's see. Yes, you can see that now this B for ball is now replaced with V for van with the help of slicing. But we cannot do individual assignment in a string. I hope the concept is now clear to you. Let's get back to the list again. Now, how long is a list? How do we find that how long is a list? Let's check that. How do we find the length of a string? We use the length function. Similarly here we use the length function to find the length of a list. Yes, so I have these 3 characters, 3 strings as elements of a list. Now what I'm going to do is, to find the length, I'll simply write print length of what? Friends. So you will see that 3 is now printed because the length of the list friends is 3. The same len function is used for finding the length of the string is used to find the length of a list. So I hope the concept of how to find the length is clear now. The next topic that we are going to cover is manipulation. Manipulation of a list. We are going to discuss 2 manipulation methods that we can use with list. The number 1 is concatenation. The number 2 is slicing. Both these methods are allowed while manipulating list. Let's see. Let me just comment this. And let's take a list and then use both these manipulations. Friends is equal to V, L, X. Suppose I have these weird named friends. Then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take another variable friends2 is equal to C, B, and I have suppose another friend named A. Then to concatenate both the lists, what I'm going to do is simply inside a print statement I'm going to write friends plus friends 2. As we used to concatenate the strings, similarly we can concatenate the list. So you can see VLXCBA is now a single list, which were earlier two separate lists, friends and friends 2. Let me write here X. Suppose I have two friends named X. Let's see what happened when we try to concatenate it. That means duplicate elements are allowed in a list. Note this point, you will figure out why I told this specifically, that duplicate elements are allowed. Let me just write here V again. Let's try this now. As you can see, duplicate elements are allowed. Just note this point. We will be seeing this in the upcoming videos, why I told you that duplicate elements are allowed in a list. So that's how we can concatenate a list. Let's see slicing of a list. Similarly, as we did for the strings, we can do for the list as well. Friends, the initial, suppose 1 till the end. LXV is printed, the first index, second index and third index. What if I change here 3? Hold on a second. Let me run this. Then L and X are printed because upper minus 1, that means up till the second index it is printed. What if I write here 1 or 2? That would be the step size, and here 0. Then let's see what happens. V and X are printed the first, then skipped 1, then the X, then skipped V, then there is no other element. So that's the concept of concatenation and slicing in list. I hope the basics are now clear to you. If you have any queries, feel free to ask me in the comment section below, or you can even DM me on my social media accounts. The link to those will be in the description box itself. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Also share with your friends and subscribe to my channel, because your subscriptions give me motivation to make more such videos. Thank you very much for watching.